All right. Testing. Okay. Welcome to Entrepreneurship with Daniel. I'm your host, Daniel Cueva. I have a special guest here with me today, Darren, also known as the King Diverse.
Sir.
Darren is a video producer, director, anything creative. You know, really he's got that mastermind when it comes down to just storytelling through video. So I'm really excited for him to share a lot of the ways that he started and just some tips that are going to hopefully help anybody that's looking to get into this domain. So Darren, thank you for being here.
I'm grateful, bro. I'm super grateful to be here, and I'm appreciative that you have a platform that you created that really contributes something to society and the world. And it's an honor and it's a blessing, and I'm here, and we're both meant to be here. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so excited to have you here as well. And so you just came back from Miami.
Yes,
obviously he came for his own reasons, but I like to think that he came just to be on my
just
show.
For my boy.
So Darren, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. What's going on?
All right. So my name is Darren B. I'm originally from Canada, born and raised around Toronto area, and I'm just in love with life. Like as cliche as it sounds. I've really tried to architect a life for myself where I never really have to do things I don't want to do. I have a vision in my mind, and every day I'm trying to create that and manifest that and pursue my dream. And I do video production. I started with a camera in my hand when I was about 13 years old. I used to be a dancer, a hip hop dancer. So back when we were in grade 8, me and my friend, we would just record ourselves sea walking and throw it on YouTube, and like these things got like 40,000 views, and like it was crazy. And we would do the video and start shooting and editing at that young age. And I really never took in what we were doing. We were just doing it because it was fun. And so basically I got older, I fell out of the dance phase, and I moved into music, and I was making music at a certain point of time, and I was recording in the studio and doing music videos for myself. And I think that was at the point where I started to realize that I was more of an artistic and creative person more than anything. And I think that's when I also found my talent as well, because when college came around, I was just looking at what do I enjoy doing, what do I like doing, and being creative was one of them. And just being a artist and being able to do my own music videos, it allowed me to know that I was able to actually take a vision, a thought, and an idea in my mind and actually be able to create it in reality, right? And that's where I learned that I could do that. And so, when came time for college, I was like, maybe I should go to school for video production, and because I have this ability to take what nobody else sees in the world and literally allow them to see it, right? So yeah, from there I just fell in love with video production, all aspects of it, and I started a business, and I've just been networking and shaking hands and knocking on doors ever since. And it's so crazy. This is something I really want to share. So basically I had like started my business in like 2013, I believe. And yeah, so I started my business in 2013. And I was looking at an old business plan a couple days ago, or maybe a couple weeks ago, and it was crazy because I was reading some of like the future projections on it, and some of like the goals I had set on that business plan was I'm going to be an international director, right? And when I wrote that at that time in 2013, it was so far from like it was just so far from the reality at that point, and like it manifested years later without me even realizing that I had willed it into faith. You know, like I had really set up, like I set the ship sailing from that point. And just looking back on it, I was like stunned because within the last like 2 3 years, I've really broken into the United States market, especially within LA, and that was a dream at one point, and it was just so crazy how it manifested in the way that it did, right? So, I mean, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
keep something short, yeah.
Yo,
Yeah,
that's
it'd be
so
very
crazy,
productive.
man. That's so crazy. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
It always it comes back to what I tell a lot of people. And a lot of people are, LA and anything in general, everyone's in a rush. Everyone's
Yeah.
competitive. Everyone's like, I'm only as successful as if I'm better than so and so, and they get discouraged. But I always tell people to kind of slow down and just to look at your current life
Mm-hmm.
and see if any of the things that you currently have was once a dream. It
That's
usually
big.
is.
Wow.
It usually is.
Yeah.
And I love that you did that because, to be in that kind of state of mind, to realize that, oh, I manifested this, you have to really work on a muscle, which is like the awareness muscle, being grateful and seeing everything that you have.
Yeah.
What was it like when you became aware of of the fact that you are everything that you at one point you just had on a piece of paper?
Um, like it's funny because like throughout this whole journey, I've always had this one perspective that I've always held on to, and it kind of, and I always tell people this too. It's like, imagine yourself at 16 seeing yourself now, present day, right? Imagine that self seeing you now, not your bank account, just your life and everything you're doing and the people that you're around and the places that you go and how you dress and everything, right? Imagine that self seeing you now. Like, what would they say to you, right? So for me, my 16-year-old version of myself would look at me and be like, yo, you made it, like, yo, you're international, like, you're in Hollywood, you're in like, I would be ecstatic, so I mean, I think I've always had a level of awareness of what is happening, and it's just been crazy, and like I think I've been super blessed to have that, and it's just helped me be able to spread my message and my dream and my vision with other people and allow them to know that, hey, look, like this this is possible, and I want to show you guys that this is all possible. Whatever you set your mind to, whatever you can visualize in your mind, whatever you can imagine, you can do it. So that I think being aware is like super key. It's helped me be able to actually open up to the world and help inspire other lives and spark other lives into action. So yeah, it's key,
Mm,
super key.
yeah, man, I love that. I love that because it's and inside of us, we always have the kid,
Mm-hmm.
that kid that just always wanted to be a kid, the playfulness in us. And it's interesting because normally I ask people the other way around, like, what would you tell your younger self? But you're looking at it the other way, which is, to me is fascinating because I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Since we are in this conversation, what would you tell that 16-year-old Darren? Like, he's right there right now,
Mm-hmm.
man. You just picture what he's wearing, what he looks like. Maybe he
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a
Damn.
beard, or maybe he did. I don't know. But I mean, what would you tell him?
I would just say, you got it, kid.
Yeah.
Like, you got it. Like at 16, I was making my own music, and I was just doing me, and I was vocal, and I didn't really shy back from too much,
Mm.
and everything led me to here, like in this room right now with the legend, so what can I tell him? He did all the right things, he always knew that this was always something was going to lead to a bigger life and a better life, and everything that he wanted for himself. And like, kudos to you. Like, like I
Yeah.
should be thanking him, like, for sure.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about through like through those dark times?
Hmm.
That maybe he didn't realize what was gonna happen, or like what would you?
Yeah. I mean, for my younger self, like, there was this journey. Oh, this journey of being a creative is just, it will, like, your moral fabric, the fabric of your soul, like, pursuing your dreams will, like, literally stretch the fabric of your soul to limits that you never even knew existed, and mind, body, and soul. Like, it's just like, you'll be so tested. And looking back, if I would actually have some advice for myself going through, my trials and tribulations, um, it would just to get myself to look longer term, beyond my current situation, and it's like, literally focus more on that long term vision instead of directly what's in front of me. Like, because realistically, like, I've been through a lot. Like, I've honestly been self-employed for about like 7 years. And I went through so much. I've went through bills balancing. I went through credit cards getting written off. I've went through, like, just I've been down and out. I've been, I don't even like using the word broke, but I'll say I've been, financially, like, just crushed, and um, that really puts a strain on your mind, and it stresses you, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And I would just tell myself that, and just see beyond that, and know that there's a compounding effect behind what you're doing. You know,
Mm,
so yeah.
man, yeah, man, yeah. I think like entrepreneurship is it's so many things. It's not just one.
Mm-hmm.
It's everyone's like focus on one thing and just do that, but that like once you're doing something, other new information comes, new
Yeah,
people
and
come, and
perspective, and
perspective.
all these different things.
So what's your perspective now,
On what?
in particular, to like, as you mentioned about like you would tell your younger self to look beyond,
Yeah.
right? Your perspective now towards your life around business, but I mean in general, like just everything.
So my perspective has definitely changed, because what's interesting is that a lot of my reality today is the result of work that I put in 3 years ago,
Mm.
of people that I met 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot is, so that, and so I've now starting to see and taste the fruits of my labor from work that I put in so long ago, when I was struggling, when I was grinding, when I was in the trenches. And I'm still in the trenches, but like, when I was really like, just doing stuff for free, like, all these different things, right? Yeah, like I said, it's a compounding effect. And it all, like, it's coming full circle for me, right? So my perspective now is, I'm really seeing it. So now I understand, like, why, people, like, mastery takes like 10,000 hours or 10 years. I study a lot of great successful people, and one thing across the board is that they all took like 10 years to actually get on, to actually get their opportunities, to actually start making money, to actually be recognized. And so, like, being here today, like, I'm really starting to see that and live that. And that's the difference. You could always hear something, and you could always um, think about something, but to actually live it is different. So I'm living now, like, the results of work I put in previous years.
Mm,
Yeah. So
I see.
yeah, my perspective, because of that, my perspective has changed. And now what I'm doing now is, I'm looking more long term with everything. Even with, like, what I'm doing in Miami, it's like, it's definitely different, because I've never really done like a partnership like that. However, I'm learning more. I just like I literally took the opportunity based on where is this going to put me a year from now, literally.
Mm,
And with that mindset, I was able to look past a lot of the the um, things in the near future and focus more on like the further future, and know that okay, this is going to be worth it. This is going to be worth
mm.
it. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. It's interesting because, like, to that point that you just said, I remember when I was starting real estate when I was like 19, is when I met Ty.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to
Big
310
time,
agent.
big time agents at LA.
uh, it was so hard because I've been in banking at an early age. I just started working for a bank and I quit to start real estate. And one of the things that my brother told me was, folk, like, you're not gonna get paid at the beginning, but he said what he told me, and it helps so much. And it's so crazy how when you write things down, it really comes.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure this is pointing to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I think this needs to like point.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Loud and clear.
What he did was like he wrote a check of $100,000, but dated it a year from today. And then he's like, "This is gonna be yours. Like you're going to get paid this check at the end of the year if you do the work."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's so crazy how that alone was just like I had it. I believed it so much that I made it happen
Mm-hmm.
without knowing. And at a younger age, when you have mentors, they're telling you to do certain things, you just kind of just do them.
Yeah.
So I think it was amazing how I had that kind of training earlier on. So, I love what you said. Just like you're working right now for results that you're going to get in a year because of today, the relationships the network that you had 5 years ago, and the work that you did. It's really a seed that you plant.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And that's the way I look at it too. Like, so I first came to LA about 2 years ago, and there's a crazy story behind it. Like,
Dude.
literally, I'm just share it. Like,
Please.
so look, I came to LA for a project, a music video, with the artist named Garen, and basically I had booked 10 days, right? And I knew one person in LA besides like the artist I was working with. I knew one other person, and I knew this person from Instagram, and we had connected on Instagram, and he loved my work. And I said, hey bro, I'm coming to LA. Is it possible if I could crash with you, right? So I had booked a plane ticket for 10 days, a return ticket. And it was so crazy because this was in 2019. And before getting to LA, I was telling everyone, I'm like, I have this weird feeling I'm going to stay a lot longer than I expect, you know? And basically, I got out to LA, we were doing the project. And when I first came out to LA, I was so broke that I had to get my mom to give me her credit card to put back on my phone service because I didn't pay my bill. And that's how I'm telling you, I literally came to a different country with no money at all, with a cell phone bill that wasn't even on, like literally with nothing, just a suitcase and a project. And basically, I just had this feeling that I was going to stay longer. And as soon as I touched down, I met my boy that I met off Instagram. And basically, he was telling me he was frustrated because like him and his girlfriend they just broke up, and she's moving out at the end of the month, and his roommates are mad at him because they're gonna have to pay more rent, or they need him to find another roommate. And he's like complaining like, where am I? And there's like 3 months left on their lease, right? So he was like, where am I gonna find another person to cover a 3-month lease? And then I literally right then and there I said, I'm moving in. Like literally. And I just, before he even asked his roommates, I'm like, I'm moving in. And I just no, I moved to a whole different country, no clients, knew 2 people at that time, him and my client, my artist. And it was crazy. And from there, it was a huge struggle. Like there's so many stories I could tell you about, but I was down and out. I was really like I had nothing, and I had to go. And I started off in Long Beach, and I had to go shake so many people's hands, go take so many meetings with nothing in my pocket. Like I was taking the bus. I was like I couldn't even Uber to LA because it was like $40. Like I didn't have it, you know. And yeah, it's just crazy. Like to go all the way from there to like how things turned out now, where now I know, like I don't want to say thousands of people here, but I know at least hundreds of people, and very high quality people like yourself, you know, and a lot of motivated people that are doing things, and people that are in the industries, and celebrities and actors, and um, all these different type of people, you know. So I don't know where else to go with that story,
Dang,
but it's
yo.
just crazy. It's just crazy to start from there, and then to, you know, really actually progress through it all and build something. You know, I think it's powerful, and only having this vision in your mind will pull you through all of that. You know, I even went homeless at a point out here. It was crazy. It wasn't even my fault. Like I was working for a property company, and they had promised me that they were gonna pay me a minimum salary, but with the promise of housing me, right? So when my lease was up in Long Beach, they said they were gonna house me, and then I had flown to Jamaica for a project. I came back. I had 3 days before I was supposed to move out, and I was supposed to move into the house that they were gonna provide for me, and they literally stopped answering their phone. Yeah, and I was out here like and it was crazy. I had a choice at that point. It was 12 hours before I was supposed to move out. I helped every other roommate move out, every other roommate, and I'm in this place, and it's 12 hours before I'm supposed to be gone, and I'm so calm. And I don't. I have 4 pieces of luggage. Like I don't know anybody else I can crash at. Like I'm like this is 3 months of being out here, right? So I didn't know that many people that I could really, you know, I reach out to. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna trust that everything's gonna work out. And what ended up happening was that my boy, Garen, he ended up calling me, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to Atlanta this weekend. Can you watch my dogs?" And that literally saved me from being out on the streets. And I did have like a decision at that point too. Like it was 12 hours before I'm supposed to move out, and I'm like, okay, do I stay and figure this out, or do I book my flight back to Toronto, Canada? You know, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna stay because I committed to this. You know, I committed to this, and I'm not gonna shy away from it. So yeah, he ended up being able to allow me to stay at his house for a week, watch his dogs, and then from there, so many things gravitated to me afterwards. So it was crazy. So yeah,
Man.
yeah. It's just the power of the mind is so powerful, you know. So got stories, man.
So, so, what do you mean the power of the mind?
Like your thoughts and your mindset, and you know, it's incredibly powerful. You know what you it's the law of attraction. You know what you think about, you will attract. You know, because if you're constantly thinking about ice cream every single day, subconsciously, like you're implanting these impulses in your mind. You know, you're feeding your mind. And like I like to um tell I like to call this a mental diet. You know, whatever you focus on, whatever you consume through your ears, or whatever you consume visually, is adding to your mental diet. You know, so if you're watching rap videos all day, trappers and whatever, talking about killing people and this and that, like you're gonna you know, gravitate to that lifestyle. If you're watching videos of meditation all day and higher learning and different things like that, you're gonna ascend, and you're going to, you know, gravitate more to that, and you're gonna be embody more of that, you know.
Mm.
But I think today a lot of people don't really understand what society is force feeding them, and you know, that's why we're seeing a lot of the effects in our world today that aren't so positive. But if you actually, you know, be strict on your mental diet, and you really consume very positive things that's going to help you build and grow and evolve as a human, you will. You 100% will, you know? So it's like, it's just all about your mental diet, you know? So whatever you intake, just like your body, right? If I eat McDonald's every day, I'm gonna see negative effects in my body. I'm gonna see things that I'm gonna gain weight, you know. And it's the same with the mind. If I intake negative things, I'm gonna see a negative reality, right? So that's the way I look at it, at least.
Mm,
Mental diet.
mental diet,
Yeah.
man. So what about on those not so good days where, we've always had, where your things maybe don't go as planned and you kind of get into these negative mindsets during
Mm-hmm.
the day? Like, do you switch it, or how do you normally go about if you have those days?
You know what's crazy? Cause like I've been called passive before,
Mm.
right? Multiple times, and I think that's like I'm glad people are able to help me evolve, right? By helping me understand, like, if there's a situation that's too heavy for me, it's like I just shut down, you know. If there's a situation that like is too negative for me, I don't want to hear about it, right? And I guess it is passive. I've just been wired like that, you know, because I try to tunnel vision things, right? Um, but yeah, like when I'm really feeling in a way, like I'll listen to like binaural beats, I'll listen to frequencies, and I'll bump it, you know, like I'll really turn it up, and I'll listen to like guided meditations when I go to sleep
Mm.
about happiness. They've really helped, 100%. Like even when we were talking before this, I was saying about some of the dark times I was going through. I would have to go to sleep those nights playing like meditation, saying you are happy, you are, you know, over and over again, and program my subconscious mind, you know. And I promise it helps. It really helped. So I mean, that's one thing. Definitely being able to, you know, like focus on my mental diet and know that I need to intake more positive things to allow more positive energy to flow through me, right? I think another thing, I do, like, you know, when I'm really facing a lot of adversity or a lot of emotions, is I pray a lot, definitely. You know, I definitely reach out and ask God for help and guidance, and you know, I feel like for me it provides me a sense of reassurance. It provides me, I feel God's presence, you know, and I feel like no matter what happens, He's always going to make sure that I'm okay, that I have a meal, that I'm not dying, that I, you know, like I I feel protected,
Mm.
right? So I mean that's like another thing, just praying a lot and meditating and being conscious of my mental diet, and I think that's about it. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Dude, it's so crazy how similar we are, man. It's so crazy, because it's I do the same things with the meditations. I
Yeah,
even started a YouTube channel, and I would like purchase or create different sounds
yeah,
because I wanted to like really have my own sounds that I listen to
mm,
during night. It's so
yeah,
important.
yeah,
And those frequencies, like everything is frequencies. A lot of people don't understand it fully yet, but I do believe that has an impact.
yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
amazing, man.
Absolutely. I'm like a strong, firm believer in frequencies, and like, there's like a good analogy that I always like to tell people, and it's like this world is composed of nothing but energy matter. You know, like everything is atoms and protons and molecules vibrating, not molecules, but atoms and protons like vibrating together and creating energy, and in this world we are such powerful beings. We are in like an energy ocean, and that's why our thoughts are so incredible powerful, because we like, think about it like this: whales communicate through sonar, the technology, what do you call
Yeah,
it, so sonar capability,
yeah.
where you know they're underwater and they send out a signal. Sonar is sending out a signal to another whale, and that whale gets it, you know. And that's exactly how our thoughts are in this universe, of energy, is that when we conceive, the moment we conceive a thought, we send out this signal to the universe, and it literally pings what the thought is. Like it pings what vibrates with that thought, and it starts bringing it closer slowly but surely, right? So that's why I think like our thoughts are incredibly powerful, um, in the world that we live in, especially like energetic wise, and that's why we see a lot of people that are incredibly successful and they've designed their life. You'll go into their home and everything is designed because they envisioned it. They had the thought that I want to put the pool like this with a red, with red patio furniture, and you know what I'm saying? Everything was like completely designed by thought, and from creation of that thought, it had brought it forward and manifested into reality, energetically. So I mean, that's the way I look at it. Like we're all like sonar whales, communicating with this universe using our sonar capability. Yeah. Is that a good analogy? Did I like properly say that or what?
Dude, yeah. Being intentional with your thoughts. Like very intentional.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I told you I was gonna ask you certain questions, but like all that went out because ultimately like I think what's important is outside of our careers, outside of like even our hobbies, it really comes down to a certain purpose, and I feel like all these things are like tools to allow us to kind of fulfill whatever that is. I want to end with this question that it just came to me actually. I've never asked it, but like, what do you want to be known for?
Oh, great question. Um, I mean, my purpose, I'm here to inspire millions of lives. I'm here to literally spark millions of lives into actions and change the world in the most positive way possible. And, I plan on doing that by building schools, hospitals, shelters, libraries, farms in third world countries, in places that need it the most, like I've visualized on this so many times. I've visualized me and a team going into like these really rough areas and building a farm. Imagine a farm and the kids get fresh fruits and they're smiling, and a school and they get to learn every day. They get to grow every day. They get to be happy. They get to go do something. Or a water well, like, and the smile on the people's face. That's life changing, And so yeah, I just feel like my that's my purpose, and I want to be known for that. I'm a light in this world, and that's what I came in here to do, is shed light on so many things about chasing your dreams, about having a strong purpose in life that is gonna make a difference after you're gone, building a legacy, you know. Um, but yeah, I'm here to definitely change the world, and what I'm what I'm doing right now, it's such a small speck in the whole spectrum of what my life plan is. So yeah, I don't know. I would I just want to be known for me, like just being great, and trying to give something to the world, because it's in me to give, and I'm blessed with that.
Yeah. I love that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Okay. What about you?
Ooh, what do I want to be known for? I want to talk to that person that I know is watching, but I have no idea that they're watching. Like people that are dealing with like mental health, the ones that really are stuck in their rooms with their phones in their face and trying to find somebody that can at least talk to them. For me, it's like I think mental health is so important, and I know there's awareness of it. So for me, it's because I mean I've experienced it, and it was hell. It was tough, but it allowed me to grow from it. And one thing I tell everyone, it's temporary.
Yeah.
It's temporary.
This too shall pass.
Oh, dude, I literally tell that to everyone. This too shall pass. So, it's gonna pass. Try to feel whatever you're going through. Feel it. Like, don't try and like shy away, get away from it. Like, look at your body when you're in these moments and see, where do I feel it? Is it in my chest? Is it in my stomach? And then just think about it. And be like, wow, that's so. interesting that my body's capable of communicating itself in a way where now I understand it, and it's a discomfort that's being felt. Don't identify with it. It's just a discomfort that's there. It's gonna go away. So for me, I want to just, I want to talk to those people, and it does. I don't know. I don't. Doesn't matter what age or anything. Like I really just want them to know, like, like it's good. You're good. Don't worry. It's fine. Thank you for asking that, man.
Yeah, that's a blessing. And it's just a blessing, a real big blessing to just be connected with people like yourself that are just wanting to be a part in change in the world, a force of love and positivity. Like, it's an incredible blessing, honestly, like, to just, come together. So, yeah, I'm grateful.
Thank you, brother.
Grateful.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
brother. Yeah.
We're special people, honestly.
Yeah, I do believe that too. And I'm just gonna add a little story now that you reminded me, but the reason why I gave that answer is actually the reason why I started the podcast. Back in the day, I was doing real estate, and I used to post a lot of things, and it was inspirational, it was motivational. I needed to be in front of people's faces, but I was just doing it for me. I'm like, oh, I need to post on Instagram. And later on, I had a buddy of mine. He was in the Marines, and we went out. This is after the Marines, and he told me, he's like, Daniel, like, back like a year ago, I was taking antidepressants. I was in the Marines, like, just sad, depressed, but your post actually got me out of it.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that like the biggest reward and blessing?
Ooh. And you know what's even crazier than that is that now he's a realtor.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best realtors in his cities. Now, do I take the credit for all that? No. I mean, real estate's a lot of hard work. I'd never take credit for all the door knocking and everything, but I believe I sparked something. And from that, I'm like, I gotta do this, because that's one of my best friends, and I didn't know he was watching.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy what our effect on the world, just anybody's effect on the world. Like, we affect people, all of us, every day without not even knowing. It's crazy.
It is, man. It is. Well, dude, Darren, thank you so much for being here, for showing up. In a full-on suit. I love it, man.
Suit gang.
Where can people find you?
You could find me on Instagram at the King King, diverse Diverse. That's the best way to find me. Like, that's the platform I use the most, and that's where I really express myself and allow people to step into my world. So yeah, that'd be the best place for sure.
I love it, man. I love it. Again, thank you for inspiring me, but everybody else is going to be watching this, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah. It's a blessing and opportunity, and I'm grateful. That's all I could say. Truly and genuinely, like, I'm very grateful. So
awesome, man. It's a wrap. See you guys in the next episode.
Dope, bro. What'd you think about it?